Good evening, wonderful people. This is Chris for the Informed Stoner. Today is Thursday, the 23rd of February, 2023, and this is your evening news segment. Today's evening news segment is brought to us by NBCnews.com. We're afraid to shower. Fear and anxiety linger in Ohio town reeling from toxic train derailment. Despite assurances by government officials that the air and water are safe, East Palestine residents remain skeptical. I don't blame them. I'd be very skeptical too. This is a big if, maybe, big maybe. Maybe it is safe, but would you trust it? I don't think I would. Doug Brayshaw was sitting on his porch when a massive plume of black smoke rose over the site of the Norfolk Southern train derailment, like a scene out of a horror movie. It was like a storm, like a big storm was coming, said Brayshaw. A truck driver who lives less than 3 miles from the site where Norfolk Southern chose to burn hazardous chemicals to avoid the risk of an explosion. Since then, Brayshaw, 63, has fretted over whether his well water is safe. Some 15 days passed before officials finally arrived at his home Thursday to test, but he is going to have to wait even longer before he gets any answers. I don't blame him. I would be very scared about my well water as well. And my air, and my house, and my ground, and, if you grow crops, any kind of fertilization problems, maybe your animals. He said it would take up to 10 days for the results to come back. We're afraid to shower, said Brayshaw, who has been cooking with bottled water he picks up from the assistance center the rail company set up at the local church. I won't even give my dog drinking water out of the well right now because I'm worried. Well, I wouldn't either. My dogs would be drinking bottled water too. East Palestine residents have been on the edge since February 3rd derailment of the 150-car Norfolk Southern train. The company initiated the controlled burn of vinyl chloride from 5 rail cars on February 6th. More than 2 weeks later, many East Palestine residents said they remained gripped by fear and anxiety despite assurances by the government officials that the air and the drinking water are safe. Like I said, big maybe. Maybe it is safe, but maybe it's not. And I bet that maybe it's not weighs more on their mind than maybe it is. I know it would mine. Mothers have turned to social media in a desperate attempt to crowdsource tips on how to safeguard their homes. Some have described wiping everything in their home down with dish soap, throwing out food that was open, and hunting online for the best air purifiers, even though they know such measures might be futile. Mentally, I'm exhausted, said Ashley Floor, 31, one of the women who have documented their struggles on a Facebook group for East Palestine residents. In some cases, assistance provided by Norfolk Southern has raised more questions for residents. The company says it has distributed more than 100 air purifiers to residents, but according to experts, common consumer air purifiers are ineffective against compounds like vinyl chloride. I bet that's true. They have some serious air purifiers out there, like industrial ones, so I can imagine that the home rated ones probably don't do much for that kind of stuff. Jenica Tone, 31, lived in a hotel for 10 days until Norfolk Southern confirmed that her home's air has been tested. When a local company announced it had acquired the home cleanup contract for Norfolk Southern for residents who lived within the evacuation zone, she jumped at the chance to sign up for what she thought was going to be a home cleanup. What she got was a foggy. She said a man from the cleaning company knocked on the door, didn't take his shoes off, and then proceeded to spray down her home with disinfectant and odor neutralizer. They didn't even bring a rag in with them, she said. Not much for cleaning then, huh? Norfolk Southern did not respond directly to the questions about the residents' ongoing concerns, but the company noted that it launched a website Monday, nsmakingitright.com, I guess that's Norfolk Southern makingitright.com, that provides regular updates to the community. I doubt they're making it right, though. Especially if they're just sending dudes in to spray your house down and not actually doing a full service cleaning. If there's something that we haven't addressed, we want to hear from residents so we can provide them with up-to-date information. Norfolk Southern, apologies. I don't know why Norfolk gives me so much issue sometimes. Representative said. The EPA on Tuesday ordered Norfolk Southern to clean up any contaminated soil and water and pay all the costs. The agency said that the company must also reimburse it for the cost of cleaning homes and conduct weekly municipal water tests. That's the least they could do. I like to see some things going faster, EPA Administrator Michael Reagan said in an interview with NBC News, and I like to see things more transparent, and that's why we're taking this action. So far, the EPA in Norfolk Southern has tested air quality in 533 homes and sampled the municipal water supply and deemed them safe. Testing results for homes that rely on private well water has not come back yet, though 52 have been sampled so far. Catone said her experience trying to get hotel and evacuation expenses reimbursed has only added to her already high stress levels. On one trip, Norfolk Southern Assistance Center, she waited 5 hours. Another trip lasted 4 hours. I went 2 times to get my money back during that time and still needed to go get the rest of my expenses back. But the center is flooded with people just trying to get that $1,000, Catone said, referring to the inconvenience check Norfolk Southern is offering to the area residents. I'm sitting on about $1,500 in receipts I need for refunds for, she added. High levels of anxiety can compound any adverse physical health effects, experts say. Dr. Marion Litchfield, an epidemiologist, spent 18 years working for the Center of Disease Control and Prevention and the Department of Health and Human Services responding to environmental impacts in the wake of disasters such as Hurricane Katrina and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. After Katrina, she and her colleagues studied how mold in homes affect asthma in children. We found that yes, the spores of mold exposure indoors have apologies folks. I'll start this paragraph over. We found that yes, the spores of the mold exposure indoors had the potential to increase asthma attacks in those kids, said Litchfield, who is the dean of University of Pittsburgh School of Public Health. But what was right next to that was having lost a pet during the hurricane and having moved schools more than twice in a year. Okay. She said she thinks such measures and offering alternative accommodations for the affected residents, regardless of whether or not their homes have been deemed safe, would go a long way in allaying their fears. Perception is reality, Litchfield said. Recognizing and respecting the community's decision, or a person's decision, not to go back, regardless of how clean the room is a responsibility of us as scientists. Steve Montgomery, 51, a local farmer, is worried about how the contaminant will affect his operation. Our sales are down today, said Montgomery, who runs Lamppost Farm, an organic farm and education facility in nearby Columbiana. Yes, Columbiana. It was because everybody's afraid. I don't know. I mean, it could be. You never know. And it could also just be because sales are down that day. I mean, it's hard to say. But chances are it's because people are afraid. Montgomery said that he remains optimistic that his farm will survive the crisis, but he's joining a lawsuit against the railroad company just in case. Say we lose 25% of our customers, that's a huge hit, he said. That is, 25% of your business would be a very large loss. Flora and her husband have talked about moving away but feel too tied to the community. She's now worried about a painful itchy rash that has spread across her 12-year-old son's body. That's probably not good. It's hard for me to decide if it's because of something in the air that's bothering him, or the water when he gets a shower, or his clothes that's being washed in the water, or if it's something else, she said. Flora said she's glad the officials have committed to testing the municipality's water on a weekly basis, but she worries that the efforts will fade over time. It's going to take years for our water to be affected, she said, and by that time I feel like everybody's going to be gone and nobody's going to be testing it. Well, I hope that's not the case. I really hope they get this cleaned up and there's no long-term effects. I know that's wishful thinking, but let's hope, that's all we can do. Hope and help. What do you guys think about this situation? How about, leave some comments below. We can have a discussion, see what what's on everyone's mind about all this. I think it's pretty crappy. And I think that Norfolk Southern should do a lot to help these people. I know they're being made to by the government, but they should be doing probably even more. Well, this was your evening news segment. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and join us Monday through Friday for news, culture, and entertainment for the Informed Stone.